Good morning. We're here visiting Tuk-Tuk, our African Sulcata tortoise, giving him some fresh water in his dish. Here he comes. He heard me getting the water, and so he's coming on over. Hey, Tuk-Tuk, good morning. Oh, look how cute he looks by his little flower. So, would you like a little shower, Tuk-Tuk? He does like to take a little shower. He likes the water, and it's so nice and warm. So if I'm usually giving him water, he usually will come over and he likes to get a little shower. Yes, there we go, baby. So Tuk-Tuk is an African Sulcata tortoise, and we got him because we moved onto a 5-acre property and we wanted to get a full-grown tortoise, not a baby, because we didn't want something that would be really vulnerable out here. So we got him. He's gotten maybe a little bigger since we got him. He's 15 years old, and he can live to be 200 years old and grow to be about 200 pounds. Right now, he's probably 100 pounds plus. We haven't weighed him lately. That's kind of hard to do because he doesn't like to be picked up, and it would be rough to do that. So we're going to figure out a way to weigh him one of these days. So Tuk-Tuk, he has full roam of this property, and this is his enclosure that we made for him. I'll kind of give you a little view of his enclosure. We did this full enclosure for him. It's got a little gate here, and this is mainly for him to have his own space. There's this little area here. This is for him to have his own place to roam where we can enclose him if we need to. He has essentially an oversized doghouse we had built, so it was wide enough for him to get in there. We put hay in there for him, and it has a heater and an insulated roof, because the main thing with, look at him drinking that water. Wow, he was thirsty. The main thing with that enclosure is that he needs to have a winter home, because it can get very cold here in Austin at times, even icy and snowy, as we all know. And he has to be somewhere where he can stay warm, because he is cold-blooded and he needs to be warm. That could kill him, that could hurt him. So that's the main thing. But we have this enclosure with grass. That's what he eats mostly. Is he goes and forages and he grazes on all the grass over our whole property. So even though we have this enclosure for him, we let him roam, and he roams our entire 5-acre property. You know, sometimes people say that turtles and tortoises are slow. Well, he's pretty swifty, and he kind of comes out of nowhere. You'll be looking around and all of a sudden he's there. You'll turn around and he's gone. He's very quick, actually. So he roams the whole property, the whole 5 acres. He roams this whole place, and he really seems to be living his best life out here. We're very happy to have him. We give him a treat of apples every now and again. They're not supposed to have too much of that, those treats, but we do like to give him an apple every now and again, and I'll post a video of him eating an apple. He can have greens every now and again to supplement his diet, but mostly he's just the easiest animal we have, probably, because he roams around the property, he eats the grass, he goes and digs around a bit. And that's another thing that you have to consider if you want to have a tortoise, an African Sulcata tortoise in particular, is that they dig. They love to dig. And so we do have our whole property fenced, and we are pretty much on rock out here. So he can't really dig too deep around here. We've never had a problem with him digging out. But that is something you have to consider, because they will dig. So you have to make sure you have a very secure fence, because that's the main issue that's going to happen, is if you have a tortoise and they dig out underneath your fence and they get out. I have actually considered, even though we haven't really had any issue, we have a gate out front that's usually closed unless a car is coming in or out. And one day it malfunctioned and wouldn't close, and he actually did manage to get out, but a neighbor was passing and told us. So that was our only incident. But I do think that I may put on a little GPS tracker for him. You can actually adhere it to the shell. And so I think I may do that just for that extra peace of mind. If he ever got out, we could find him. But so far we've had him for going on about 2 years now. And he has not ever escaped our yard, except for that one time he went out the driveway but didn't get far. So Tuk-Tuk's pretty awesome. He's very social. He comes and usually greets people when they come into our property. He is very, they're very kind of bullheaded, stubborn, and they want things their way. And so we do have our dog, who is a French bulldog, Bailey. And unfortunately, Bailey has bitten him on the leg because he actually Tuk-Tuk will literally run after the dogs if they're barking at him. He just doesn't put up with anything, and he'll just barrel through. And even though the dogs have their area that they are in that is secure, he still comes up to them. Even though he knows that's going to happen, he doesn't care because he's not backing down. So that is one thing you have to be careful of, is with dogs. Our other two dogs, you know, they just kind of maybe bark and then move on. But our French bulldog, because of his personality, doesn't like to back down either. So sometimes they've gotten into it. And so we do have to keep an eye on that. But he has plenty of space to roam and get away from the dogs. He doesn't have to be there, but sometimes he chooses to do that. So that's really our only issue we've had with him. But otherwise, he is just the coolest creature. If you're considering getting an African Sulcata tortoise, they do get big. Like I said, he's about 15 years old now, and he'll keep living on way after I'm gone, and he'll keep getting bigger. And if you have any questions, feel free to message me or post a comment if you have any questions. Bye, Tuk-Tuk.